Peter B is not for Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba. He is for New Nigeria. Abubakar Jafar Abubakar. Nigeria presidential election will hold next year. The outcome of this election will determine who will take over from President Muhammadu Buhari. A Twitter user identified as Abubakar Jafar Abubakar has disclosed on social media that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party and former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, is a detribalized man. According to a post Abubakar Jafar Abubakar made on his verified Twitter handle, he wrote, Peter Obi is not for Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba. He is for New Nigeria. Abubakar, a staunch supporter of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, believes that Obi can take Nigeria to greater heights if elected. Abubakar stated that Peter Obi is for New Nigeria. Peter Obi is among the presidential candidates for the 2023 presidential election. So, our thoughts on this. Given what the comments are saying, it's actually pretty diverse. Now, let's look at it. I mean, for the fact that it is coming from a northerner, gives a lot of hope. It does give a lot of hope. Obviously with several comments by certain northerners that are popular. Is it Madi Shehu who came out to call Peter Obi all sorts of names and basically demean his campaign and all he stands for. Obviously, just trying to poke basically to destroy his name in simple terms. And so yeah, let's get the comments. First, you are right. One of the major factors of Peter Obi is that he's not tribalistic. About 62 years Nigerian, and he will stand for all Nigerian tribes. Again, he repeats it every single time. And to be honest, why maybe for a northerner they'd be convinced that Peter Obi is not tribalistic is because they're not necessarily under the two big parties that play identity politics and that have done that for so many years and has made it the forefront of literally the core of who they select and why they select people to contest under those platforms. So yes, in that way, it's like, I mean, Labour Party is a pretty new party, and there have been several suggestions of who the vice presidential candidate would be, and there have been a lot of northern options, as well as other options that may not be from the north. But maybe this is what would be for northerners to actually, I mean, again, I think the stereotype that all northerners would just be against it. Of course, we know that those in remote areas who don't have access to internet or really good living conditions, yes, we understand those are in a much different situation that can be easily manipulated. But in spite of that, those northerners that are basically free thinking in their own right and do have access and are able to judge for themselves, maybe Peter Obi would be the option for them, or Peter Obi would not necessarily seem like an antagonistic option to them, to their own culture or whatever. So yeah, that is a pretty good sign, but we'll see. My brother, God bless you. Please help tell them poverty is in the north, same in the south and in the east. And to be honest, I think the real impact in terms of getting the numbers in the north to support the south, if there's going to be a situation like that, is for the northerners to do it themselves. So it's a different thing when you are trying to infiltrate society to get them, to convince them. I think it's easier if you have more people like Abubakar Jafar Abubakar basically telling themselves and telling them, look at our land. I mean, it'll be more convincing and easier to sway northerners in simple terms, and it's more effective. And on social media, now until northerners themselves agree with themselves and they actually unite for themselves, I don't think any amount of convincing would do justice to the numbers that would be favorable to make Peter Obi win, for example. I really like what my brother has said. Obi is for New Nigeria, not Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba. I am Igbo. I'm an Igbo man, and I'm supporting Obi And I'm not supporting Obi as an Igbo man. I'm supporting him as a new Nigerian leader. Exactly. This should be the uniting factor. We need to have our standards for who we want to lead us, not because they're from a certain place. That kind of thinking has to change. I mean, for Nigeria to really change, that old mindset has to go. This is how politics is supposed to be played, devoid of tribalism or religious sentiment. Again, Nigeria is not the only country that would, would have religious sentiment as a factor for who they choose. We're not the only country with problems. There's nothing wrong with the sun. There is no problem that it is in this world that Nigerians do not have. Fact is, how far are we willing to let it go when it will be to our detriment? Then, in that case, it does not make sense at all. Another comment. See how Buhari was attacked and all the attacks in Nigeria Kuje prison, okay? Will be moment for new Nigeria. Yes, I strongly believe Peter Obi is for the new Nigeria. I have never been this happy with any politician except Peter Obi. It's true, and I think because it's it's not the first time, because it's not the first time we've had really intelligent Nigerians. Like, it's not a thing of intelligence or a thing of, he's just right for the job. If you compare to the other options that we have, he's just right for the job. He really is. Because I think a lot of people want to say, okay, fine, what makes him more qualified? Is it the way he speaks? Is it the way he carries himself? Is it because of his CV? I mean, he's got the experience, right, which is a very good factor. However, I think it's not necessarily that, because we've had so many intelligent intelligent candidates, and candidates who have experience and have gone abroad and But also money and Labour Party as well. You also have to have the checks. Your party also has to have the coins for them to actually stand a chance. And I think when everything else is right, there's so many more factors that would make a candidate more likely to win. And yeah, they've gained popularity, and Nigerians are willing to support to the end. So in that regard, that's also important. Let's look at more comments. I am in love with this guy, okay? Northerners will choose light over darkness. You are a big-hearted and true Nigerian, okay? Nigeria is going to work again under Peter Obi and a northern Muslim vice president. Abubakar Jafar, Abubakar, you humble me, embarrass me and shame me. God bless you, not because you support Peter Obi, but because to you it doesn't matter who the person is, where the person comes from, or what faith the person practices. This should be a change, and this is what we should hope for in mass. Put what you think about this in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.